Hello once again, I'm Cosmic, and today we're going to be taking a look at indie roguelike Sunless Sea, which was developed by Fail Better Games. Sunless Sea is set in a fantasy Victorian London, where London itself has fallen into an underground sea known as the Undersea, which is filled with both the weird and the wonderful. You are placed in the role of a sea captain, a job both dangerous as it is lucrative. You start off creating your captain's backstory and life goal. This life goal will dictate the main objective of the game and when the game will end. Once your first captain is ready, you're given a small starter vessel to command, and then it's up to you how to proceed. Do you take missions from the establishment, ferry passengers to exotic ports, or set off in search of treasure? It's your choice to decide. Control-wise, the game is fairly simple, as movement and combat can be done via the keyboard, and menu navigation can easily be done using the mouse. The WSD keys are used to turn your ship, and the W and S keys are used to increase and decrease the ship's speed. Maneuvering your vessel is fairly realistic, and just like a real boat, your ship will turn fairly slowly, and accurate tight turns are nigh on impossible. If you suddenly cut your speed to stop, but you were blazing along at full speed, it will take time for the vessel to come to a complete stop, as you will drift a little bit. Combat is also fairly simple. It simply requires just hotkeys to fire or use items. Depending on the size of your ship and the amount of guns that you have, can affect your firing arc, which denotes the range in which you can fire and hit targets. Most weapons have a cooldown time, but you can fire before the cooldown is over. However, it will reduce the damage and accuracy of the weapon. Similar to other games in the roguelike genre, Sunless Sea has management aspects to it. You must keep your ship and crew fueled and fed, and monitor their terror bar. Should your ship run out of fuel at sea, you'll be dead in the water with few options available to you. Fail to feed and take care of your crew, and they could mutiny or even abandon you. Each encounter your ship has with an enemy or a mission will have an effect on all your fuel, your supplies, and your terror rating. The questing and exploration is by far Sunless Sea's biggest positive and a negative. The game has no voice acting, so everything is described by text, and oh boy is there a ton of it. If you don't like reading, then I would advise you to give Sunless Sea a miss. To truly get into the game from a storytelling and immersive standpoint, you have to delve into the world with your own imagination through reading the text. As places and characters are described in a very vivid way, your imagination is set alight trying to picture it all in your head. Quests don't hold your hand either. You will often just get an objective and told to go. There will be no map help or any kind of real indication of where you're supposed to go. It's up to you to explore and find your destination. Sunless Sea's whole aesthetic is dark and atmospheric, and it oozes a world of bleakness. The game's graphics and art style work together to create this atmosphere by mixing kind of cartoon style art with a colour palette of dark greens, browns, blacks and greys, not only to give a dark visual appearance, but also something quite intriguing to look at. The sound design as well provides a good companion to the grim visuals, and it's added by tense music to the soundtrack, which really does grip you as you ferry along the waters, kind of silently in the mist, and then suddenly a giant crab attacks you and you're kind of terrified of what to do and panic. The game's slow-paced nature can lead to outright frustration. Travelling from port to port is a slow and costly process. The map design, while beautifully crafted, causes problems when trying to make a long journey, as the middle of the map has a severe lack of ports when you need them, causing you to stay at the starting area for quite a large amount of time. For me, the slow pacing was a real problem. At certain points I just wanted to move on and stop going to the same damn places, but I couldn't because I needed to build up my fuel, money and supplies. One thing I really do like about the game is that more choice and skill is involved in your demise rather than chance. Unlike many roguelikes, Sunless Sea isn't out to get you via chance rolls. The majority of the time, should something bad happen at sea, such as you engage an enemy too powerful for you, it's your fault. Many obstacles can be avoided by calculating risk. It's about making sure you have enough fuel, firepower, supplies and skills to achieve your objective, and if you're just going to go trekking off recklessly, then you will get yourself and your crew killed. Erring on the side of caution really does play to your advantage in this game. Once you eventually do perish, a new version of you will start all over, but something can be selected to be inherited. This could be the ship that you bought, an item such as a powerful weapon, or the map that you spent ages to explore. In one sense, it can help the difficulty hump of having to start completely anew, but the system can also be used to build up money and pass it on until you have enough to progress. The major problem is that nothing changes. It's the same quests, it's the exact same thing over and over, no matter how many times you start over, which can get very, very repetitive, and it's something that I found quite a big negative, because after a certain point of having died and inherited a few things, so I got to the point that I felt like I could continue, I was so bored of start doing the same starter quests and staying in the starting area for so long over and over and meeting the same people and choosing the same options. There was no real kind of creativity, spontaneity about it. It was all the same things over and over, and I would have liked a little bit of randomization in terms of the characters and the quests and the things that you encounter along the way. Personally, I found both the combat and the general gameplay somewhat boring and without depth. Yes, Sunless Sea does have character, and it's an intriguing, vivid world, but it lacks the compelling combat of other games such as FTL and other roguelikes. Without the vivid world, the lore, the strange characters that you encounter, the game would be terribly dull. The game requires an investment from you as the player to read all of its text and put your own imagination into it to be able to get the full experience out. Again, the game is so text heavy that I fear that many people will get put off by that fact. And I think ultimately it can be summed up very simply. Sunless Sea is a bit like the condiment Marmite. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please do subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If you enjoy my work overall, please head over to my Patreon and support me there, and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you next time.